Coming from the Truspace, we ain't entertaining neighbors. I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace.
What's good, y'all? My name is Open Book. This is my partner.
Hey guys, welcome back to Truspace.
And we're breaking down this new moon in Libra energy. So, with this new moon in Libra, Jupiter's over there opposing it. How do you think this energy is going to play out?
So basically, this new moon in Libra is gonna be all about us being in a new emotional space to initiate relationships, harmony. So we could continue to build on what we optimized in Virgo season. And in Virgo season, we obviously worked on what we did in Leo season. And in Leo season, we worked on what we did in all the personal sides: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. So right now in Libra season, this is time to initiate harmony, balance, bring relationships that could improve what you've been working on so far. If anything, Libra energy could take you further. This is why Saturn is exalted in the 7th house, because Saturn deals with responsibility, restriction, control, and karma, major themes, generational like things. So your relationships are what could pave the way for you to get to your midheaven, which would be Capricorn, your 10th house. But that square is going to create a lot of learning opportunities to understand what you need to get there. But right now, Libra energy is going to put you in the state to learn the communicative aspect of what relationships that you need to be in to move forward. Especially, you should need to be careful with the opposition to Jupiter in Aries, not to neglect the expansion on the individual, since Jupiter is going to stay there for almost a full year. So you want to spend as much time as you can to extract knowledge and wisdom, and make sure that those relationships go with the individual. They don't go against each other because of an opposition.
Yeah. Absolutely. And what you were saying with relationship with like Saturn and Libra is very true. Where when somebody's willing to put out their hand, like what Libra is, willing to compromise, willing to blend their energy, willing to try something new, to organize with other people, and to start a conversation about something. Saturn's like, well, I can build structure around this, or this is the type of energy that structure could really be built upon, because this person's going to be a willing participant of this type of energy. Oh, fuck.
Don't worry.
I don't know why my phone died. But yeah, comparing Libra with Saturn and how it creates that perfect plateau for something to be built. Because when people are cooperative, like what Libra is, and willing to work with each other, willing to compromise, things can really get built. Things can really get to a point. This is why Libra energy is utilized. This is when campaigns are thrown, but then they wait till Scorpio, the transformation energy, to really let that go. But all Libra season, they're talking about elections this and elections that and stuff. It's the build up for all of that. The drum up of it all. Absolutely. So this area that this new moon is happening in, and people talking about new relationships, and yes, this also does play out with people, but it also plays out with places and things, and that's an aspect that I don't feel like a lot of people put enough attention on, in terms of your 7th house really dictates, and you'll see a lot of similarities between that quality, relate to people, places, and things. So how you go about create relationships with people, say a person who is prone to become codependent. You'll find them being codependent with drugs, codependent with a car, even, you know what I mean? Even though it's nice and mobile to have a car, maybe say they don't have a car and now they turn stupid and can't live life or something like that. But that's how they act in relationships too. So that's just an example of how it trickles into other areas. So while this new moon is going on, you're like, oh, I'm in a relationship or I'm still single and stuff like that. Really look into the deeper aspect and just how you relate with things in general, how you emotionally relate with things, how you mix and blend your energy with things. Already the partnerships and relationships and friendships that you have already had um, cemented. Really going over these areas. Maybe there's new things to learn about these aspects in terms of the percentage levels. Are your relationships 50-50? Do you feel fulfilled in your relationships? Do they make sense? Are a lot of them, taking things away or drumming up a lot of emotion or draining you emotionally? That's something you're going to see a lot with this new moon, especially the emotional draining part. How your relationships either fulfill you emotionally or take from you emotionally. And don't go thinking that this is something that is, external in just them. With Libra energy, a lot of times it's mirror. It's a mirror. That's what your relationships are. They're a reflection of your internal world, of what you are creating inside of you. And that dictates, it takes two to tango type energy. So you can really look at Libras as mirrors, and Libra people act like that a lot too, where they can mimic other people's mannerisms and behaviors and really um, that's why a lot of Libras are good at being actors and shit like that too, and artists and stuff like that, where they have to have personas and stuff like that. Artists, where they can abandon certain ideas of selves in terms of the things that they seen in other people that they had liked, and so there's a lot of that aspect going on, but how are these things afflicting you emotionally is where it's going to be the focus.
Exactly, exactly.
And planting the right seeds going forward, looking for the full moon that's going to happen, where moon's probably going to be by Jupiter too, so it's going to be expansive emotions really coming at it. So I even paying attention to that opposition and what's going on right now in terms of how your relationships are coming into that solo journey that you're supposed to be on with Jupiter and Aries. If with this new moon you may find new opportunities to go and explore relationships, but really pay attention on how these things go. It's not like don't take these opportunities. It's more so learning how to, like what I'm talking about. Libra is more about blending the energy. When you learn how to blend your energy and you get things to 50-50, or you're starting to understanding percentage level in terms of relationships and how much you're giving in and how much is being put back, and being fair within that regard, being open to giving energy, giving 50% first, even though 50% is not guaranteed, and then learning which niggas aren't really about putting up the 50%, and learning from that. If you use that energy earnestly, instead of just trying to be part of a partnership to make things easier, or just to get things and shit like that, you won't be getting in the way of Jupiter and Aries, that solo journey, that inward dive of creating more meaning to yourself and your desires and your individuality. It'll only serve as a greater learning lesson, but it's still gonna come to you in the form of a challenge. But it's how you go about that. If you're doing that 50-50 thing, you can trust that you're on the right side of the energy, if you can see that energy going into this new moon.
And Libra energy is so perfect right after Virgo season, because Virgo season are mutable earth signs that deal with daily optimizations. Then we need a earth and we need an air sign that could communicate what's happening with Virgo, like in a controlled fashion through Venus. Venus what makes what Virgo do put it in a beautiful way, relatable, since Virgo is a Mercury sign and does not and might not know how to communicate these things as good as Libra. That's why Libra is so involved in the market. This is why lawyers, justice systems, laws, micromanagement, understanding is this justice or not, suing. You always hear about it all the time. And these things are happening all the time. So like justice and the scale of balance idea is happening in such a large scale all the time around you. You may not realize it even within your body, because your kidneys, which play out through your seventh house, always have to play out through the scale of balance when it comes to what your lead your fifth house, because they sextile it, so they help your blood, help get rid of waste and things of that nature. But they also deal with, say, with the square with Capricorn. They help your bone and prevent bone buildup, which prevent osteoporosis when it comes to Capricorn. This is why Saturn is exalted in Libra, and that's why it's important. Things of that nature.
Absolutely. So those are the benefits of the relationships, and I feel like a lot of, like you would see a lot of talk in the spiritual community where it's starting to become like a popular trend, or people starting to think it's right to, like be cutting off their friends, or that it's good that they don't have good relationships in their that they're that they're victims, that people don't understand and all of that. We really have to get out of those mentalities, because you're creating that reality for yourself. If you stay true to yourself, and be open and a genuine person, you're gonna find friends that you could relate to in that aspect, or you're gonna find situations that don't make you have to do that. And a lot of times, sometimes being spiritual, if that's an impetus between you and your family members, between you and your friends, it depends on the situation. But sometimes, if that's what's getting in between, you have to drop that shit. And if you're not dropping it, then you're the demon. Because why do they have to believe in the same things that you believe in, or have to have same mentalities that you have? Even though, you can see the benefits and maybe your intentions are in the right places, you don't want to, those relationships aren't genuine, or that's why you're experiencing so much resistance. And then that's what creates all of this solo mentality. Oh, you have to do this by yourself, or I'm out here in the universe, there's only me, all of this other type of shit. You don't be answering calls, or hitting up people, or fulfilling relationships and stuff like that. This is this. And then the separation mindset, this is what's really plaguing people, and why we don't think that we can get together. Like, if you really had that Libra energy solid, and stuff like that, niggas was really on this love and light community type shit, we could really come together and build some shit. But what's really out there, and that's a huge energy that's preventing something positive from growing from that. It's because of the unhealthy Libra systems, because the shadow government been raping that energy, so we don't even know what to do with all of that shit. Fuck it, we were growing up what little hidden dicks in Disney and shit like that, them just sexualizing the fuck out of you and shit like that. Wasn't that fucking cartoon when the nigga like using like a sawing wood on some nigga's booty or some shit like that? That was an actual TV show. But that energy has kind of really been poisoned in our minds, and we don't have that down straight. So with this new moon, setting good intentions in terms of relationship balancing, and what it means to have a healthy, genuine 50-50 relationship, and being open to new ideas, to new relationships, to relating to other people, to mixing your energy with other people, is only going to bring you more benefits, especially coming the full moon. You're going to see the real fruits of that openness. If you start in the conversation, if you presenting yourself to the world at large, you're going to see what that can really do. When you put out teamwork is the dream work, and you put yourself out, and you'll find the team start to form, and the relationships start to come there, and you'll be the better for it.
Just don't forget the generational planets as you're going about planting this new moon seeds, because you have Pluto in Capricorn, but Pluto in Capricorn with that square with the new moon, and the new moon and Libra is going to show you where you need to fix your relationship with your business. And then we got obviously Neptune and Pisces. You don't want to be kept your relationship that's going to affect your subconsciously in ways that does not go with your dreams and illusions and imagination. And the Uranus in Taurus, You're gonna make sure what you're speaking and your relationship and what you're relating to connect with your values and sense of stability that you've been building on for a long time right now.
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. So, going through the houses, if you have this Libra new moon going through your first house, how do you think this will hit these people?
So you guys gonna have a new emotional way when it comes to relating, when it comes to relationship, your personality, your personal issues, your early environment. You guys might have developed issues when it comes to relating that area of life. And then Libra, with Libra energy, you guys can figure out all these beautiful Venus-like way to put it, but also Saturn's exalted there. So you guys gotta learn how to take responsibility for your first house, your personal issues, your physical body, your early environment. But you guys might start to speak about that area of life more, let people know about it.
Absolutely. But yeah, in the first house, and a new way of relating with others on an individual level, like of how you present your identity. I can see a lot of relationships really shining a light on how they see you, on how, you know, your identity, your personal interests really start to get to entangle with your relationships. You're probably a Libra ascendant, or maybe you're a Scorpio ascendant, where relationships are a huge aspect. Where if it's Libra, you're more of a socialite, and if it's Scorpio, you have those deep relationships. Where you have close friends that you really connect to, or more of a deeper aspect towards your relationships. So you're going to be seeing how your relationships really affect your personality, your personal life. Maybe your personality is different when you're around different people, and you're starting to notice that emotionally. I feel different. I relate to my personality in a different way when I'm around these people. So you may be seeing a lot of that coming this new moon, and you want to be planting seeds in terms of how your relationships affect your identity, and trying to put that in the healthiest way possible. Make sure that there's 50-50 exchange going on, and that if you're in that 60-40 aspect, how is that changing your personality and your personal interests? And is that aligned with how you feel and how you want to present yourself to the world? So that's if you have this new moon in the first house. If you have it in the second house, how do you think this will hit?
So right now, you guys gonna be full. You guys gonna try to figure out a new. You guys gonna your emotions. You guys gonna feel brand new when it comes to relating on a communicative level to figure out your relationships that could balance or unbalance the way you go about your money, possession, stability. Because we know new moon in Libra could bring you relationships that could rob you from what you've been trying to build in your second house. And we know the second house deal with they call it the gate of Hades, which is the beginning towards hell, because it deals with physical possessions. And if we don't have enough physical possession, we kind of stress out completely. It's kind of funny that the second house deal with your hormonal system. So the more you don't have these things together, the more you lack stability within yourself and things of that nature. So definitely make sure you get into a relationship that's related to the stability that you want to bring for yourself, and make sure that those words, especially because it's a Libra and then we deal with the second house, they may not be as tangible. So you need to understand that differentiation between valuable words while valuable physical possession.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And even our physical possessions, and just us feeling secure and stable in this reality, really ties into our self-worth and how we feel about ourselves, our self-esteem, what we feel that we deserve, or what we're worth, basically. So you'll see an intersection with that in your relationships, how whether they're dealing with your resources in a physical way, or more if it's in that self-esteem way, in terms of how you feel about stability and about attaining stability and going for those types of things. Your relationship dynamics may really be shining a light or be affecting, or you want to be putting your attention on how your relationships could be affecting your self-worth aspects, also along with your physical assets and your means of setting yourself up to be stable, your finances, your gifts and talents, also the things that you consume, the things that you value. How are your relationships shaping your values? And you want to be setting new intentions, planting new seeds on establishing healthy ways for your relationships to influence your values, because you probably do have a lot of friends and friendships, or have one impending that's really going to show you how to better value yourself, better value the things that you have, and really ensure stability for yourself in the future. Or you can have relationships that are doing the exact opposite and just draining your resources and giving you bad mentalities and bad ways of going about that. So you really want to plant seeds of utilizing the second house energy in your relationship aspects in the healthiest way possible. And that's the second house. Looking at the third house, how do you think this new moon in Libra is gonna hit the third house?
So you guys gonna start planting new emotional seed when it comes to the way you guys gonna relate and communicate to bring harmony when it comes to the area of immediate surroundings, dealing with your siblings, short distance traveling. It's gonna be basically surrounding you. This is where you're gonna attempt to create harmony and things of that nature. I believe you're gonna be like a Gemini rising.
Gemini, maybe Scorpio, Sag, maybe Sag,
Oh.
Sag or Capricorn.
Oh, but either way, so you guys gonna basically feeling all type of ways to reconnect when it comes to the area of your immediate surrounding. Since it deals with Gemini energies, a lot of people get scattered within their immediate surroundings to the point that they don't even realize it. This is why Geminis deal with early education for you to learn about these things, so you don't get lost when you take the bus. You end up wrong in the wrong stations and things of that nature. Those needed information, and then having the new moon in Libra there, this telling me you're connecting, you're bringing relationships that deal with harmony. You're trying to make sense out of your immediate surroundings and things of that nature. You just want to be careful because that's heavy air element energy, and you may not know what to do with it.
I get what you mean. It may lead to further indecision, more speculation, less action, more information getting instead of information using and utilizing. And you're right, it may play on that indecision aspect of Libra. So maybe you may not know how you feel, or emotionally, you may be being swayed in a whole bunch of different directions relating to your immediate surroundings and how they're influencing you, and how your relationships influence your surroundings and how they create your surroundings. Also, your mentalities too. How are your relationships with your siblings as well? Like what you were saying, is your relationships with your siblings very transformative? Very integral into your life. With this new moon in the third house, you want to be planting seeds in this areas and really focusing on how you establish your rapport with your your siblings, your neighbors,
Co-workers.
your co-workers, people that are just in your general surroundings, and how you bring balance into these situations and planting the healthy seeds. So be aware that it can get too speculative if you just leave it up. So try and leave it to the ground, and really look at your immediate surroundings and your day-to-day aspects that will be reflecting your relationship dynamics.
You guys could highly benefit because the third house deal with like almost like superficial communication, while Libra might bring that like sense of honesty and sincerity that you guys might enjoy within your immediate surroundings. And then this is
Mm-hmm.
where you guys have Jupiter in your ninth house, and that's gonna where you guys gonna expand more on knowledge and wisdom, because you guys understood what to do within your immediate surroundings to do the right thing, to connect with the right relationships, and do not make your immediate surroundings so constricted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a great opportunity for you to make relationships that aren't too far away, that are, right there, that fit within your day-to-day routine too. And since this is a new moon, so it's a new way of even feeling about your surroundings that is more balanced, more presentable, and having better mentalities around these things, all of how you set up your surroundings in the first place. So maybe you're setting the intention of wanting, you not even just better friends, but starting the conversation with your friends about how their attitude affects the whole vibe. Talking to talking to the people about that, and making it known so that they can add better energy into your surroundings, or so it's at least known to do something with that information. Otherwise, you just get all speculative, and you just keep coming up with ideas and just thinking about more things and just thinking and thinking. More indecisive with your emotions. I think I feel like this. You should be feeling this, not I think I feel. You know what I mean? But it could get into that with the new moon in Libra in the third house. But yeah, that's the third house. Looking at the new moon in Libra in the fourth house. How do you think this is gonna hit?
So this is time for you guys to initiate those relationships to bring harmony from a communicative perspective to the area of home, family, domestic issues. So it's gonna be weird because here we're dealing with the air element, logic, while the fourth house deal with the water element. It's not about expressing emotions and feelings and trying to get comfortable. This is dealing with thoughts and ideas and try to make things work, continue making things work further instead of making it so emotional and so uh, dealing with the concept of comfort with cancers or the fourth house in general, which prevent us from going further in our relationships, marriages. Like if your IC, your which is opposite to your midheaven, is not built well, that's gonna prevent you from reaching further in your life and things of that nature. You guys gotta watch out for what's going on with that relationships you guys gonna build within your home, because you guys gonna have Jupiter around your 10th house, and you guys have to expand when it comes to the area of your work, business, status. So make sure you guys plant the right seed when it comes to your relationships at home, because at home your family, your home could support you when it comes to work, business, and you may not even realize this because you think it's just that those areas of life are opposite. You may not know what people could do for you if you do just the communication, if you say the right words. This is why Libras is deal with that skill of communicating and that social mechanism of making things like work well.
Absolutely. Gemini would talk your ass off, but Libra would. The way that they had worded it, it probably didn't even make sense, but just it had enough rhymes and alliteration and synonyms that you was like, oh, that sounds about right. But yeah, absolutely. And man, everything starts from the home. Everything starts from the home. Um, how your relationship dynamics start from the home. This is probably even why that square aspect is there, where there's that challenge of learning how to present yourself on a broader stage, because of how you were received at home, and all of the aspects in terms of how you were supported, at home. So really bringing balance into this area really heals a lot of energy that can get in the way and cause that square, more frustrating type energy when you're trying to create relationships, when you're trying to expand outside and find partners that you can relate to you, as an individual. So healing that aspect, and this is the part that a lot of people want to skip, like what I was talking about with the love and light niggas, and the fuck everybody, or I'm all alone in this universe type people often have family problems, or their parents won't conform to their cult and shit like that, or their ideologies and shit like that. So there's a lot of energies, like you can't have that energy. Obviously, if there's nothing that you can do, there's nothing you can do. And everybody's situation is different. But not having balance in that type of area is a real detriment in terms of how you are going to relate with other people leading on. That's why you always hear when people learn a little bit about psychology and stuff like that, which this is true, where people have mommy issues and daddy issues and all of those aspects. You always hear about that in relationships because it plays a big role. Like we don't really, even though we have this rhetoric, we don't realize that you are a product of that environment and how much it had influenced you. So don't neglect this area going on. You already have Libra in this area, so you're probably already aware of this type of energy. So with this new moon, you really want to be planting the energies of bringing balance in the home. The home is a reflection of you and how you feel and your comfortability. It's supposed to be your safe space, your safe haven. A lot of us, maybe it's not even your home, maybe it's your room, that's become your safe haven and stuff like that. But that's still your place of comfort, your place of support, a place that will receive you in a healthy aspect.
Exactly.
So really analyzing that area of your life and planting seeds for how your relationships can best mingle with that area and being open to it, being open to starting the conversation at least about those aspects is really, you're going to see the benefits coming come full moon. It may be even more alone time, it may be less alone better, just be better understanding of a relationship aspect. And now when you have the home dealt with, now you know how to establish comfortability within yourself. Now you can go and have comfortable relationships, or now you can go and give your friends advice and all of that. It helps your relationships in that way. So that's the fourth house. Looking at the fifth house, how do you think this new moon is hitting the fifth house?
So you guys are gonna have to start to plant seed when it comes to communicating and relating and bringing relationships that make sense for what you guys dealing with when it comes to your creative life, what you guys deal with when it comes to pleasure, social life, even children, creativity, and things of that nature. So it's gonna, because this area of life, it deals with a lot of entertainment, having fun, and sometimes things do not get done. This is why maybe you're right now having Jupiter in the opposite house. Jupiter making you, forcing you to work and expand and learn about the area of life related to groups, friends, so you could have people that could look at your individuality and self-expression, so you could do something with it. Even though you might think as opposition, you may not see how these things could work. But right now the new moon, so make sure you guys set up the right relationships for your creativity and self-expression, because a lot of people can see self-creativity and figure out a way to rob you blind, especially what's going on with the new moon in Libra. And it's gonna happen where? In the 11th house.
My bad, bro. But yeah,
No.
continue. But yeah, absolutely. And I bet it's a good place to have the new moon too. But things could go a little too far or too quick too with that entertainment aspect, and then now you're bringing your relationships and other aspects into it. Things could get way too far. Too much people on the stage and all of that aspect. But yeah, your fifth house is really how you express how you feel, that area of how you really express how you feel. Having this new moon there, you really want to know how this expression, how you shining your light deals with your friends, because just like what we're talking about, how it can go too far too real quick, there's a lot of potential energy there, and it would be a shame, it would be a waste, especially if you have Libra crawling in your fifth house. How you relate to people is a direct link with your creativity, and you're probably the type of person who feeds off of other people's energy and stuff like that. So if you have negative relationships and things that are kind of really taking from you, this can really hinder on your creativity and how you express how you feel. And you may make you feel silent, or that's where the creative blocks are coming from, or that's why you can't express yourself, and maybe that's why you don't enjoy time with children or your own children and shit like that, why it's more of a stressful aspect, because you have to deal with the wife, or you have to deal with the baby mama, or you have to deal with all of these other aspects. or you have to share your entertainments, or you have to share, uh, um, time with other people and stuff like that. It may be more of a negative aspect. So you really want to be planting the seeds for healthy ways where your relationships can accommodate your creative expression of self, and how they can best accommodate the things that entertain you and how you find fun and joy. Um, and to, yeah, not be afraid of that, to try and work with your relationships, instead of, because the fifth house, it can also be an area where we get a little bit too dominating, because we want to have fun and enjoyment, or we want to be entertained. It's that solar plexus spot. So that's an area where we can get really lost in. So a genuine openness to something new could be something really positive. To a new way of a feeling about your relationships can really open up a whole gateway of creativity. Yeah, that's the fifth house. Looking at the sixth house, how do you think this new moon's gonna hit there?
So this is a time for you guys to all to create relationships that is very relatable for the sake of your service, health, work, and skill, and what you basically for the skill of self perfection. And you don't want to bring relationships that may hinder that process. Libra is right beside there with Virgo, so Libra always wants to balance things out, but it needs something to balance out, and that's the harvest when it comes to Virgo. So that's gonna be important for you guys to plant the right seed when it comes to the new moon in your sixth house. So that's gonna build up to what relationships that could affect you when it comes to your uh, what's going on with Jupiter in the 12th house, because you guys try to expand when it comes to your dreams, illusions, imaginations, and you guys might find the right relationship or the wrong relationship that may or may not get you through the entire arch till you get to the full moon, which is gonna be in your 12th house, I believe. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. If your relationships really dominate your daily routines in an unhealthy way, it's gonna build up so much subconscious gunk that really, one, hinders your ability to imaginatively create your potential futures, and you having healthy dreams and imaginations of what you want, because it's so dictated about how other people feel and what other people want, and you compromising, you extending out your hand. If your schedule and daily schedule is so intertwined with your relationships in a negative aspect, you want to be planting seeds this new moon to have healthy relationships in terms of your day-to-day routines, and how you work, and establish practicality in your life, aka your relationships don't come in the way of you getting the bag, don't come in the way of your daily meditations or something like that, don't come in the way of your daily workouts, or you making, whatever it is that you're establishing, that you're trying to build routine upon, that you're trying to perfect. um, you want your relationships to support this in an aspect, or how you emotionally feel about your relationships. Otherwise, what, your relationships can make you all stressful, and worry about things all day long. Just add so much stress into your life, so much responsibility, so much grunge work that you have to do for your relationships. It doesn't have to be like that. Communicate about your daily schedule, communicate about what you're trying to perfect, allow your relationships to have a more harmonious energy. This is why giving up 50 is pretty important. Yeah, a lot of times people take the 50 and run, but you're setting your price. You're setting, or what it is that is needed. You're setting the bar, and the genuine people in your life. Hopefully, you're setting a good environment, and you have real genuine people in your life. They're gonna give you that 50. If you're like, oh, so this is a 50 exchange. All right, I'm gonna give 50. But if you get into the flunked out energy and you're giving 60, 70, yeah, niggas might take it, and or they'll get away with the 30. They're not gonna let you know, oh, or you're putting a little bit too much energy. This is really 50. You have to be able to do that for yourself. So For you, you're really this energy is really gonna be telling in your sixth house, so it's your daily routine. So, you really be want to bring out the healthiest aspects of this Libra new moon, and that's the sixth house. The seventh house. How do you think this energy will hit them?
So you guys gonna be working on bringing the right balance to your relationship and figure out which relationship work or do not work for you. This is important for the sake of building the right base when it comes to partnership, uh, and even dealing with the seventh house deal with like open enemies. And like that's what's so beautiful about Libra. You trying to bring balance to people who you know might be your enemies. This is why Libra, when you look at like tarot cards, it's like the scale but also the sword. So like it's like it works so well for that concept. So you guys gonna attempt to utilize that Libra energy to bring a lot of balance and harmony to that area of life. And since you guys have Jupiter in your opposite house, in your first house, you guys been working expanding your sense of self and understanding that your sense of self could be worked well with your relationships, and they don't have to be neglected or so far apart. So but make sure that you plant the right seed for the relationships. They're gonna help you develop your individuality, your personality, even work well with your early environment. You don't want people who's gonna aggravate what happened to you in your early environment, personal issues and things of that nature, because the first house is already stressful. It naturally squares the 10th house, the 7th house, and the 4th house. All these areas of life are the most stressful areas of life for everybody: work, relationships, home, and things of that nature. So you don't want to so you want to try your best, definitely, but know this first. It starts with your relationships, but don't neglect yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and yeah, Jupiter would probably be in your first house or maybe even on your 12th house. So either way, you're on a solo mission to discover deeper aspects of who you are, either your subconscious or what's out in front and on the surface. So if you feel that your relationships are taken away from that in any way, now is the time for a new contract deal. Now is the time for a new way of even feeling and going about relationships and that aspect, so that you can satisfy. Because yeah, Libra seven house type energy, having this new moon, you're probably the type of person who's very comfortable with relationships, very um, you know, uh, where you may not put too much attention into into that area of life and how they may be judging into other areas of life, and that may really be taken away from that solo journey that you're supposed to go on, especially accentuated if you have it Jupiter in your first house, where you're really supposed to be learning more about your personal desires. Your relationships can really be taken away from that right now, so you want to have the healthiest relationships possible in regarded to your personality. So um, in this new moon, let your relationships be, relationships, and understand that mirror aspect, because that in turn can probably help you learn a lot about yourself. And you can be in social situations, you can be in the Libra starting the conversation type aspect, that the diplomacy type aspect, but still learn about yourself, giving to others, starting getting the whole thing going, but still learning about how this gets you going on on a personal level. So you can really utilize this to learn more about yourself and not let it just be about other people and your partners and all the people that you feel obligations to. And that's the seventh house. Looking at the eighth house, how do you think this is gonna hit them?
Ooh, the moon. First, the moon doesn't like to be in Libra, and now it's gonna be debilitated in the eighth house. So now you guys may or may not see what relationships. Now you guys gonna initiate the new moon in that area of life, dealing with the eighth house, the behind the scene realm, sex, death, transformation, occult, money, power, and control issues. It gets so deep there, you don't know where you're gonna get attacked. This is why it's the eighth house, and this is why it deals with occult, eighth house things and things of that nature. So you guys want to definitely plant the right seeds here and watch out for all relationships that may or may want to know about what's going on with your vulnerabilities or what's going on. If they are the proper relationship, let them in. If they're not, then swing that Libra sword and then cut them off, and things of that nature.
Absolutely. That's a lot of aspect when people are dealing with the eighth house in Scorpio energy. They just don't talk about it. It stays locked up in what's his guy's name? Davy Jones. David Jones' locker, that pirate nigga, whatever it is, but it stays locked up in a really dark, deep place. Starting the conversation, and this is where a lot of that happens, and people who get depressed or get lost in that black hole oftentimes didn't utilize the Libra energy in a healthy aspect in terms of their relationship and their friends. If you're genuine and you expose some level of vulnerability on a large level, you're going to have good friends, or one friend, two friends, a good relationship with your sibling, a good relationship with the place, if it's not even people in your life, to some aspect, and have an outlet to start a conversation about these insecurities, to start a conversation about these deeper dark aspects. And if you don't have that, this is a good time for this new moon to really reach out for that, to really ask the universe and come up with a new way of feeling about speaking about these things, and letting people into these deeper aspects. You'll realize that once you have real genuine relationships, healthy aspects, healthy way of feeling about your relationships, it takes the load off of all of these insecurities, and you start finding, having new ideas, creative ways to transform these energies into better energy.
Which is kind of funny since Libra is your kidneys, and if your kidneys do not do their job, guess what pays the price? The AIDS has the reproductive organs. This is where all the inflammation ends up happening. So it's a
Yeah,
build up to it. But either way,
yeah, hands down, sure. And that's the eighth house. Looking at the ninth house, how do you think this new moon's gonna hit them?
So right now, guys, gonna learn how to initiate being relationships, the right relationships, or even get rid of the wrong relationship. In the area comes to your wisdom, knowledge, higher education. Do people relate when it comes to what you developed so far? When it comes to your education, your view on God, spirituality, which is very important for you because you have the new moon here, and then you're planning to you can experience the full moon in the third house, where you're gonna see how your higher meaning and reasoning of things uh, create and leads in certain situations when it comes to your immediate surroundings, because due to the oppositions and things of that nature. But you doesn't want to plant the right seed, because what you plant within your like subconscious realm, but it's hard to say Sagittarius with the subconscious realm, but it's your spirituality, your spiritual sovereignty. So whatever you believe in and whatever you give meaning and reasoning to is gonna be what relationships you're gonna attract and things of that nature.
Absolutely, absolutely, and the relationships are really gonna dictate what you give meaning to, and what you learn, and the experiences that you go through in general. So if you're planting the right seeds and really trying to make the healthiest type of relationship expression with this new moon in Libra, you're gonna find that your friendships and your relationships, your partnerships, take you on a deeper journey of things that are worthy of experiencing, things that really give you some knowledge, because they can so easy just make you so knowledgeable about some bullshit. You don't want to be able, well, I guess to a degree, but you want to be too knowledgeable about snakes and backstabbers and stuff like that. That means that you met a whole bunch of snakes and backstabbers and shit like that. It's like, where, and then you don't really know too much about the positive aspects of relationships. It's like, that doesn't sound nice. So it's more so planting the seeds of that type of understanding, that it's not going through any type of experience. Although, if you have been through bad experiences, trying to extract the wisdom and knowledge from that experience is probably the best way you can go about it. But try and go out and experience the right things, stimulated by healthy relationships, and relationships that have that 50-50 aspect. So while it's going over your ninth house, really planting seeds on how your relationships can be a healthy addition to how you build more wisdom in your higher learning and traveling and how they aid your spirituality and seeing different perspectives. If they're making you more stubborn, maybe if they're just gassing you up too, so maybe it's not too good. But they're helping you see different perspectives, correct you when you're wrong, and add to that higher understanding. Now you know you're planting the right seeds.
Sounds like a lot of religious debates and debates about relationships and what has the most meaning and reason to yourself. Yeah,
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 and how God incorporates in the relationship, the
exactly,
spirituality.
exactly.
For sure. That's the ninth house. Looking at the 10th house, how do you think the new moon's hitting them?
So you guys gonna be planting relationships that may or may not work when it comes to what you guys need to plant seeds for, which is 10th house, your business status, and the moon in Libra might give you guys the right starting point, since the 10th house deal with the earth element. It might deal with practicality and things of that nature, but the issue is that you need the relationships to move the business. There's no such thing as a businessman who's not good at sales and things of that nature. So think about the new moon in Libra is like that, having a new first start when it comes to your relationship and a new way of communicate when it comes to your eighth house, your business, your destiny, or what you want to do. You might find relationships that might distract you or might bring more to your business status, but it's gonna be up to you for you to figure this out, because after this you're gonna have the moon in Scorpio, which is going to be in your 11th house, and this is where you're going to get backstabbed, so you're going to be highly careful. This obviously is going to lead to you having a bad full moon, which is going to happen in the 4th house, and this is going to be bad because this is when you're going to realize that while you were got fucked at business, that you did not take care of things at home, and you may not put who you are, your self individuality, what you need actually to do at home, while getting lost with your relationships in business and your outer life appearance.
Yeah, and your status in the world. Getting caught up in status. And your reputation. You want your relationships really have a huge effect on your reputation and how you're known, how you're able to start business. If you have a whole bunch of relationships and friends that prevent business from going, that perform that square in you reaching your highest level possible, then you need a new way of feeling about your relationships and going about your relationships. So you really, with this new moon, you really want to be planting the best relationships and how your relationships can either support, your business status, reputation, and add to it in all different realms of reality. For example, not just saying nice things, but having those good healthy friends that'll tell you when maybe you're flying too high, or maybe that you're being a little bit too dry, and they can, with the Libra energy, not only connect with you on an emotional level but connect with you on an intellectual level, because they know you, they know your life, they know aspects of you, and they're able to talk to you, be like, come on bro, you can't manage all of the kingdom, what are you doing, or you shouldn't be going about that, or that's not a good look. People are going to look at that, and they're not going to want to buy the product or whatever it is. So, and then the Capricorn may be so focused on work. I mean, with the 10th house energy, so focused on work, so focused on the status, that you're not realizing how your relationships can really help support that and not getting in the way. So you can provide an avenue for your relationships. When you let it in, now they're not going to talk shit behind your back. Now they're not, no open enemies aren't going to be, attacking, because you open the doorway to that access, to utilize that energy in beneficial ways, instead of just trying to be dry and shun all of that stuff out. So you really want to be planting good seeds in that area. So that's the 10th house. Looking at the 11th house, how do you think this new moon's hitting them?
So you guys gonna bring harmony and balance when it comes to the area of association groups, the people you guys relate to, when it comes to, for the sake of collective consciousness, what you guys want to do for the world, how you guys want to push and create some form of revolution. that energy deals with Aquarius, so it's fixed air element, so it makes us very rooted, stubborn about the people we associate with, the way we think. Sometimes we don't listen, and Libra energy might bring the right relationship, the right words that we need to uh, uh, to fix our associates, or bring the right people to our association, or maybe even deal with these people in our association and make them work well with us more on a harmonious level and things of that nature. And this is gonna be important for you guys, because you guys are gonna deal with the full moon in Aries, where you guys gonna be reacting to what you guys have been doing, building on when it comes to your sense of self, when it comes to the fifth house, what you guys express on self-expression, your creativity, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. And like with this energy, we're having Libra in your 11th house. There's this high tendency, especially just like we were talking about with the trines, like things can get so intellectual that they lose their ground to reality. So your relationships can really dictate your associations and the social causes that you support, and how you logically go about making sense out of the world at large, and your definition of truth and how things should be and what you rebel against and stuff like that. So your relationships can really spark you to become associated with things that may lead to, with the 11th house too, with Aquarius, that's self-sacrificing energy, because you're trying to accommodate for what's most logical, because you're trying to accommodate with what the global mentality, with Aquarius, it's such a broad scale that they're applying the logic on the scientific energy, that they can get so self-sacrificing, so forgetting about the individual experience, the fifth house, how they feel. They forget, you forget about that, and then your relationships will really support that in a way, in terms of adding to that energy, adding more ideas, making it more balanced. There's more balance if you were to be more self-sacrificing. So you may feel that push in your life, but you really want to situate this energy in a healthy way. And self-sacrificing is not necessarily a bad energy. Supporting social causes with your friends and your partners and your relationships isn't bad energy. Collecting information with them isn't bad energy. You just want to make sure that it's healthy. You just want to make sure that they're not leading you to self-sacrificing, and certain creative and individualist aspects aren't being denied. That it's in the healthy way. Okay, yeah, this makes sense, and I'm really with this aspect of sacrificing it for now, because it helps satisfy my other desires, or I'm able to incorporate my individuality in this, and then it's more supported by your friends. So this area is very eccentric. So either you're really good at this energy, and I really don't need to be telling you anything about it, or you're already on the flunked out side, and you really need to be utilizing this new moon to plant the right seeds.
You're gonna realize how Libra energy is needed. Libra energy is what accumulates to create Aquarius, but we don't realize how basically what goes on with our 11th house. The 11th house is basically what leads into the 10th house, and then leads to the 9th house, and the 8th house, and then the 7th house. But the issue is that uh, Aquarius deals with the revolution, uniqueness, originality, and that could be very intense for the world, right? Below the horizon. So it has to go through business, Capricorn, something presentable, the midheaven, and then go through Sagittarius, form of religion, Christianity, Islam, something like that. So it could be, we could handle it, right? That's the sextile right there. And then Scorpio, we can't tell everybody everything about this unique original nouns that we've been building on for so long. So we gotta hide some stuff. 8th house. Then Libra, we gotta balance, make it look beautiful, make it look presentable. Then Virgo will like put the details in.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And Libra is what gets people to join. Come and join the association. What gets it to start by making it look positive and stuff. So with that being in mind, you can really get things going. You have the energy, maybe even the friends and the atmosphere to get things going. So establishing a new healthy way of feeling about all of that stuff may really make you feel more fulfilled within your social life. And that's the 11th house. Looking at the 12th house, how do you think this new moon's gonna hit them?
So you guys gonna have to bring balance and harmony, which is gonna be hard because this is the 12th house. This is subconscious realm. This deal with how mystical compassion, karma, or how we escape reality. So bringing balance and harmony, or finding the right relationships to communicate about these things that deal with the behind the scene realm. If like the eighth house is like nobody knows about it, like the dark ages, then like the 12 house is like nobody knows, don't believe it exists, basically the subconscious mind. So finding I may even agree with you, that's gonna be hard for you guys to find a relationship that agree with what's going on with your subconscious mind. But the more you guys do that, the more that's gonna benefit your work, which is gonna be what you guys gonna learn to fully react to on an individualistic level, instead of allowing yourself to get moved around by all these influences that's coming from the area of relationships, depending whether you plant the right seed or not. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, for sure. It's so easy. There's all this Venetian energy. I bet it'd be so easy to get into La La Land, or so much subconscious influences based off of your relationships that you may not be aware of, that dictate your life, maybe even your daily routines, because this is opposing the sixth house, and you don't even realize that it's your relationships that are doing this aspect, and it may lead you to feel like this, you don't get enough you time, that you don't get enough into it. Also, your friends can also help, aid into the La La Land aspects, may help you disilluge from reality, and kind of look for be more idealistic, and look for the nice and positives in things, and not really having the courage to peel behind the curtains. But maybe sometimes you, with this energy, there's the potential to have those healthier relationships, and when they do, if you're being flunked out in La La Land, man, they're going to tell you, they're gonna let you know, because there's more balance out here. They can get more things done out here within the real world, so, and then there's a lot of people that you can start the conversation with about these things, to start unpacking what's going on, or your relationships can be utilized as a mirror to understand what's going on subconsciously within your mind.
Yeah.
So there's all of these healthier aspects that you can be utilizing in your relationships if they are more detrimental to you in your life. So with this new moon, you want to be planting the seeds for that. Now your friends can add to the creative imagination based off of reality, based off of your personal individuality being your daily routine, and that's what you're working on and perfecting. And when you're creatively imagining, now you can incorporate all of the ideas from your friends, and everything, because your individuality within your daily routine has been set, and it's been honed on to. So you really want to be planting the right seeds this new moon, and you'll realize how much your relationships can help you unpack your subconscious mind, and creatively imagine for the future.
And like this is gonna be beautiful because Libra, like I said earlier, it deals with open enemies, but the 12th house also deals with secret enemies. So this is like
Oh yeah.
this is like this is like double unlock, yo. This might like even resolve a lot of issues that you have at work and shit like that, and health and shit like that. So yeah.
Expose a lot of sleepers, a lot of people who may not have had your best intention, have been facilitating a lie, facilitating an imagination that maybe they've been benefiting off of it, or that they wanted to manipulate you on a subconscious level. You may be exposing some witchcraft with this new moon, and be with the seeds that you plant, may even be exposing these this witchcraft. So definitely watch out for that energy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's this new moon through all 12 signs. Um, if you like the video, like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, TrueSpace_. Check out our website, TrueSpace.biz. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Take care.
So, y'all.